So before we get started, thank you everyone for being here today. We are really excited that you're joining us for this webinar on better hiring for customer service. So if you just don't join us, say hello in the chat with your name, company, and where you're joining us from. So during the webinar, we'll have a 25-minute roundtable discussion with our fantastic speakers, followed by a 15-minute Q&A where we'll answer your questions. So don't be shy. You can drop your questions in the chat at any time, and we'll make sure to get to them during the Q&A. So we are here today for this webinar on better hiring for customer service. Just before we start, a quick note that this webinar is being recorded and will be shared with all registrants afterwards. So my name is Carine Aubin. I'm the sales director of Pipplet. Pipplet is a language assessment platform for recruiters and HR, and we've been around since 2015. In 2021, we were acquired by ATS Global, the makers of TOEIC and TOEFL, which has been an exciting development for us. So with Pipplet, recruiters and HR can easily send 30-minute online language tests to assess both oral and written skills in over 40 languages. And results are delivered within just 24 hours, and they are based on the internationally recognized CEFR standard. So at Pipplet, we work with over 1,500 employers all over the world, helping them hire and develop multilingual talent with confidence. And many of those employers actually work in the customer service space. This the space where finding candidates who can speak the local language and provide top-notch customer support is absolutely critical. And that's why we are so excited to have some of those employers here with us today. Thank you for joining. We are going to be talking about recruiting best practices for customer service roles, and our panelists will be sharing their perspectives on the current talent landscape, their different challenges and approaches for sourcing and screening candidates while balancing efficiency and quality. And they will also share exciting industry trends they are most looking forward to. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce our amazing speakers. Diana-Florentina Truica is a talent sourcing specialist at Accenture Romania. Diana is responsible for overseeing candidates from the screening process to interviews, and she works closely with stakeholders to develop efficient sourcing strategies. As you may know, Accenture is a top professional services company that provides strategy and consulting, tech and operations solutions to clients in various industries, such as banking and insurance, telecommunications, automotive, retail, energy, and FMCG. Next, we have Elzette Strasheim. Welcome. Elzette is a seasoned HR professional and registered organizational psychologist. Elzette is the assessment lead at 5CA, a global BPO company that provides remote customer support to clients in gaming, tech, and retail. She has implemented automated psychometric assessments for high-volume customer service roles, and she has a passion for using assessments for coaching and development. And joining us is also Laura Covaci, a recruitment professional with nearly 10 years of experience in hiring for a wide range of domains and industries. And Laura is the recruitment team lead at Wipro, a global IT consulting and business process services company that specializes in customer support and has a strong presence in Europe. And last, but definitively not least, our moderator for today is the amazing Karina Anvarova, International Business Development Manager at ATS Global. ATS Global is the official provider of the TOEIC and TOEFL tests in over 180 countries. serving educational and business communities worldwide. And in 2021, ATS Global acquired Pipplet to augment its assessment services for businesses. So welcome everyone. We are so happy to be with you today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Karina to start the roundtable. So Karina, take it away.
Thank you so much, Carine. Welcome once again, everybody. I'm very, very happy to moderate this roundtable with this world-class recruitment experts. Let me start with something that we all know, that customer service is such an essential part, right, of any business. And finding the right people for those positions, right, is crucial. So first, they require a unique set of skills and competences that not everyone can have or possesses, right? And so finding the right talent has a significant impact on companies' reputation, customer satisfaction. Everything is linked, and of course, the revenue. So my first question to our experts will be, what are the key traits you look for in a customer service candidate? Maybe Diana, how about you kick it off?
Of course, I'm happy to open up this discussion, and thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be able to present some insight today regarding your question. So, like you mentioned, considering that a customer service representative is the face of the company, a main point of contact with customers, there are indeed certain traits which will ensure overall their customers' retention, loyalty, and will contribute to business growth and profits. Some of these key traits that I will mention will be problem solving, customer satisfaction, simply and overall an individual which is communication driven. It is known that working in this field will also imply solving a variety of issues which customers may face. So it is important to have the people skill. Also, if we're speaking, of course, about foreign language candidates, we will also look to prioritize their language capabilities.
Of course, yeah. Thank you so much. And how about Laura? Do you have similar requirements at Wipro, or maybe it is different? We'll be happy to hear your opinion about that.
Thank you. Thank you, Carine. First of all, Diana, you made a very good point. While there is no doubt that communication skills are essential in order to perform in such a role, we also strongly believe that there is a mix of emotional intelligence traits that makes a big difference in providing an excellent experience to the customers, even in the most challenging situations. Problem-solving abilities, adaptability, a positive and an empathetic attitude are all critical factors that enable an employee to quickly assess customer needs, to communicate clearly, and connect with a diverse range of customers, which we know they all have unique expectations. Regardless of the agent's previous interactions with other clients, imagine that an agent might have 20 calls of the day. Each customer seeking support is experiencing their first interaction with the representative and deserves to be treated with the same level of energy and openness to resolve the issue as the first caller of the day. And this is what we believe that truly makes a difference to the customer.
Thank you so much for your answers. This is very insightful. And what leads actually to my next questions. What are the biggest challenges you face in recruiting for customer service roles today? Elzette, maybe you can share your experience with that?
Sure. Thank you so much, Karina, and also very excited to be here today. I think within the 5CA context, in terms of challenges, what I can mention is that we, as stock standard practice, recruit for bilingual customer support agents on a global scale. I would definitely say that, finding the required language skills in specific locations to ensure coverage is quite a challenge. So, for example, appointing a Japanese English speaker in South America in order to provide coverage in a Latin time zone, or, for example, appointing a German English speaker in the Philippines to cover the EMEA time zone. All these different requirements we need to take into account and can be quite a challenge to find those specific skills within the location where we need to appoint these agents. I think secondly, and my colleagues will probably agree with me here, the war for talent is also a very real challenge. Most customer service roles tap into the same talent pool, so looking for people with good language and customer support skills. I think also as a small to medium-sized BPO, it's often difficult to attract good quality candidates when you're competing against some of the industry giants. And therefore, it's very important for a company to ensure that you have a good employee value proposition in order to attract those candidates. You need to be able to show during the recruitment process how your company is unique and different compared to all the other, compared to all the other competitors out there. So you really need to think about your EVP when you go into the recruitment process in trying to attract people. And maybe the last thing that I'll mention is I believe that candidate drop-off is also a big challenge during the recruitment process. At 5CA, we try to strike a balance between the intensity and the length of the assessment and focusing on ensuring a great candidate experience. Ultimately, if you're asking too much of the candidate, you probably won't sit with a lot of applicants at the end of your process. So it's really about striking that balance between assessment and trying to get the candidate through the process whilst also keeping the candidate experience fun and interactive to avoid a lot of drop-off during the process.
Thank you, Elzette. This is very, very interesting. What about Laura? What is your biggest challenge at Wipro today? Is it something similar, or you have different maybe challenges?
We do have similar challenges. However, our context is a bit different. In Romania, for example, Wipro has the impressive ability to attract talents up to 25 different foreign languages, especially European languages. However, the biggest challenge we face in recruiting especially for customer service role, is finding candidates who grasp the requirements of the job and who possess skills that cannot be easily trained, such as patience, for example, resilience, motivation. And I'll give you an example. Upon hiring, we have significant investments that are being made for developing the talent resources. The initial 1 to 2 weeks are designed for cultural and customer-focused training. And I'll give here some examples: call handling techniques, business writing skills, customer excellence. And even after that, after employees are comfortable in their roles, they can select a wide range of training openings for both soft skills and hard skills. However, we believe that in order to actually benefit of such training, candidates have to bring to the table up front things that sometimes are difficult to be found. And I mentioned here motivation, that internal drive and commitment to actually go through the entire development process. It is debated recently that many of the Gen Z candidates that we hire nowadays, they often lack the patience to find none-of-the-shelf solutions or deal with callers that struggle with technical knowledge and might require repetitive assistance. And that might be because of the generation gap. What we noticed is that, unfortunately, as we recruit 99% of candidates remotely, we are unable to evaluate their body language and gauge their reactions to those kind of scenario-based interview questions. So like we did previously by inviting them to the office. So this kind of adds an extra challenge in identifying the right fit for the customer support role.
This is so insightful. I'm really amazed, and I think recruiters certainly have a lot, right, on their plates,
Yes.
Don't they? Like balancing the right candidate qualities, marketing competition, customer expectations. So that's a lot to handle, actually. So let's dive into how you all approach these challenges when it comes to sourcing the best customer service candidates. So what are your go-to strategies for sourcing quality customer service candidates today? And Diana, maybe we can give the floor to you with this question. What are the strategies at Accenture? Thank you.
Of course, I'm sure we all have different, like a different way of working, a different approach. I'll just focus a bit on one of my favorite strategies, which has helped me source quality candidates. Of course, besides the classic job posting on job boards, I mainly rely on LinkedIn as a direct sourcing tool. First, I do a bit of research, check companies which have this industry to gather maybe some insight as well about their attrition rates so that I can target and engage with former employees. Of course, this strategy also is applicable to current employees. We know that this industry is quite challenging, so it does help if candidates had already some experience before.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Lauren, can you speak about your strategies at Wipro, because that this is interesting to compare and to hear different points of view and how you tackle those problems at your respective companies.
Sure. So, first of all, I would like to point out that we do also use a mix of various social platforms, relying on LinkedIn as a channel to actually engage with potential candidates and share our opportunities. However, we consider our a high rate of employee referrals to be the most significant source of recruiting, because it kind of reflects the health of an organization. Receiving referrals indicates that those employees are engaged, they are satisfied with their work, and they consider the company as a desirable place to work at. So employees who refer someone are more likely to have a good understanding of the company culture and job requirements, and that will result definitely in high quality candidates who are more likely to perform on their role. In terms of the talent acquisition cycle, we believe that not only sourcing is important, but also actually providing a quality recruitment process so that we can attract those top candidates that are indeed they value a professional organized recruitment experience. That is done through one way. We believe that the healthiest approach is to actually provide candidates with a constructive feedback, and whenever they don't get a job, to suggest some other options within the company, especially when there is such a business environment. We can refer to other domains and different level of experiences.
Yeah, so you definitely interest yourself in the candidate who is in front of you, and you're really like giving the feedback to the candidate who is coming to Wipro. Well, this is really...
That's true. And I can't even label this as a sourcing strategy, the constructive feedback part, but rather a belief in what we think it's fair and ethical for them. And definitely those candidates who are valuing such a thing will be attracted towards our company.
This is definitely very, very valuable. Thanks, Laura and Diana. This is absolutely amazing insights, I think, for me and for everybody who's listening us. And now I suggest we dive into the assessment stage, right? Once you've sourced a pool of candidates, it's important to ensure they're a good fit for the role you're looking for, right? So what are your go-to strategies for screening and assessing customer service candidates? And how will you ensure that they have the necessary skills, competences to excel in this role? Elzette, maybe you can share your experience. I'd love to hear your perspective at
of course.
5CA.
Thanks so much, Karina. Yes, so at 5CA, we use various recruitment strategies to assess candidates' abilities. I think it essentially starts with your applicant tracking system and the application form and pre-screening questions that you might already have within that first step. After that, we typically use pre-screening assessments by an external service provider, especially for our high volume roles in the start of the process already. So for us, getting I want to say thousands of applicants per day for some of our roles, it's essential that we already start using assessments as early as possible in the process. Then we also, after that, we typically conduct in-depth standardized interviews by various stakeholders. So it's not only our recruiters, but typically the team leads or the hiring managers of the client that we are appointing for. And then lastly, we would also administer language assessments to ensure that we have adequate language ability when it comes to appointing our customer support agents. For language assessments, we specifically use Pipplet because we found that they are the best partner that are able to provide unbiased language assessment in 25 plus languages. And that also aligns with our internal appointment of agents, since we also need to be able to reliably certify that our candidates are able to speak these languages. One also very important point for us is that Pipplet is able to provide assessment within the CEFR format, or Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Since that is a requirement that many of our clients actually have. For example, we need customer support agents that speak C1 English and maybe B2 Japanese. So we need to be able to provide that information reliably and unbiasedly. I think also for us, in terms of assessment, Pipplet has really helped us to speed up the process, because you're able to provide the assessment results within 24 hours, all within one platform. We have a recruitment team of about 30 plus recruiters that all need to be able to log in and have access to the same information in real time. So in terms of assessment, and specifically language assessment, Pipplet has been a great partner in that essence, and also being able to provide quality analytics for a very big team that needs to operate efficiently.
Definitely. That sounds like a very complete and very reliable process that you've put in place for the candidates. So I think your customers are lucky to work with you, right? Thanks, Elzette. Diana, could you maybe speak about your go-to strategies at Accenture?
Of course. There are some things which are a bit similar to Elzette's answer. But just to give a summary of how we as sourcing specialists come around this method. After we screen basically the proper resumes, first we start off with a short phone call with the candidates, roughly 10 to 15 minutes, just to go through key details with them, see if their skills are in line with the description. Once this is settled, we will continue to schedule the Pipplet assessment. We do rely a lot on Pipplet for the efficiency to manage high volumes of application, since we also have quite a high volume of recruiting. And it helps with the 30-minute duration of a test. The candidates feel that it's not like the type of assessment that's going to take too long, so they're like open to really finish it as soon as possible, which definitely helps the recruiting speed up. Also, it helps us a lot to predict candidates' future job performance based on those results. After the results are in, to be more efficient, we will schedule a final interview where a recruiter and the manager are present. And here, going back a bit to Laura's topic earlier, it helps a lot to collaborate efficiently with our stakeholders to make the process efficient and offer that good candidate experience.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diana. This is also very interesting and insightful. Laura, maybe you would like to share as well your strategies at Wipro?
Sure, of course. I would point out that we are also relying a lot on Pipplet language assessments as we address to a variety of language speakers on the market. And that is one strategy for us to streamline the recruitment process and address to an automated screening assessment so that we can be more efficient in identify and assess a large number of potential candidates. I do remember remember that some time back, at the beginning of my career, we used to assess candidates through pen and paper kind of tests, and that was very time consuming. It required a lot of effort exactly to organize, first of all, those testing sessions, and then sometimes we were even losing candidates because they were not interested anymore to participate and actually reach to the interview stage. So looking back, we are so grateful that we have these modern tools available to us, and those are enabling us to actually conduct assessments in a very quick, comfortable for the candidate and accurate manner.
Great insights so far. Diana, Elzette, Laura, thank you so much for sharing. Your strategies like for sourcing and screening, they're really impressive. I think your clients are in a very good hands. I'm really impressed, and I think our listeners as well. I hope we have a lot of questions. Don't hesitate to put your questions in the chat. We will answer them by the end of this discussion with great pleasure. And now I wanted to talk about this topic. One of the biggest challenges recruiters face is finding the right balance between speed and quality when it comes to hiring, right, for customer service roles. And it's a tricky balance to strike, right? Especially in a hyper competitive talent market. So some recruiters might prioritize speed, wanting to fill roles as quickly as possible, while others may prioritize quality, ensuring that only the best candidates are hired. So my question, you maybe partially started to answer this question already, but my question is, how do you navigate this balance, and what are some strategies you use to ensure that you're hiring quality candidates quickly and without sacrificing the quality or fit? Maybe Laura, we can start with you.
Sure. Thank you so much. It's an interesting topic, actually, because one way to strike a balance between quantity and quality in recruitment is to approach each aspect separately and recognize the importance of both. Strategies such as data-driven recruiting, online assessments, streamlined recruitment processes are the best way to address to the quantity part. And it's quite understandable that people may be concerned that by doing that, we might be losing the human aspect of the recruitment process when using automated tools. But the reality is that using such advanced recruitment techniques that we mentioned earlier and all their benefits are actually helping us to free up time and resources to focus on evaluating candidates holistically, not only experience and skills, which an automated tool might be very helpful and in handy, but also their potential for growth, fit for the company's culture, values, and long-term goals. So that would be our view on this particular topic.
Thank you so much, Laura. And how about you, Elzette? How are you achieving this balance at 5CA?
Thanks, Karina. And I couldn't agree more with Laura. It really is this dance between quality and quantity and not losing candidates within the process. But I think an important point is also the need to know for which roles speed and efficiency are of the essence, and to try and automate your process as much as possible for these roles. So within the context of 5CA, especially for our high volume roles, the need for saving time and implementing automation is bigger in the beginning of the process to try and get, I almost want to say, all the ticks off the bucket list so that you can really start spending time with the candidate. So, for example, Spanish and Portuguese are some of the roles where we get a lot of applications. And for these roles, we already automate a lot of the decisions using our applicant tracking system. We also integrate our assessments with the ATS so that that part is taken care of almost by its own and by itself. And to therefore enable our recruiters to have time to really spend time in the interview, getting to know the candidate, knowing that the rest of the checks are already done, and to try and also within that process really qualitatively and quantitatively determining whether this candidate is a fit for the role. So that would be my answer, especially for high volume roles. Try and automate the process as much as possible within the beginning of your recruitment process.
Thank you so much both for your answers and the insightful information. I'm learning a lot with you, and it's great to hear about all the innovative and holistic strategies you're all using, right? And now I'm sure our audience is eager to learn about what's next for your teams. So let's maybe talk a bit about the future, right? As the recruitment landscape is constantly evolving, what you anticipate being the next big investment for your recruitment strategy in the coming year? Maybe you could share this with our audience and with me. I'm very interested as well. Are there any emerging trends or approaches that you are particularly excited about? So I'd love to hear from all three of you on this. So Laura, maybe you could start with this.
Sure. It is indeed very exciting to know that there are new approaches and upcoming trends that we can address to. We are definitely looking into innovative AI and automation approaches to optimize and streamline the recruitment process for greater efficiency. While Wipro has already made certain progress in other geographies, such as pre-recorded interviews, we are currently exploring how to actually implement those in Europe while ensuring compliance with local legislation, because we all know there are many regulations and law that may vary by country or by region. So that is definitely one. And then in terms of the potential investment to improve our recruitment strategy in the upcoming year, definitely we will focus on building a reputation on the market as a brand that offers diverse opportunities. So for example, someone coming from a plain customer support role will definitely get the support and learning and development opportunities to transition to a role in procurement, finance and accounting, or technical processes. So those will be definitely our two focuses for the next year.
Thanks, Laura. Elzette, how about you? How about 5CA?
Yes, definitely. It was mentioned regarding AI interview processes. Our sister company, Covaci, has also started implementing that and using that as a tool to help clients screen easily when they register on the Covaci platform. But in particular, 5CA has been placing a big focus on the candidate experience. So what we've done over the past year is also to start using a branded assessment webpage, which actually contain company videos that introduces the company at the start of the assessment process. We tell a little bit more about ourselves and our company values. To also see that we have that company fit between the candidate and the organization. Following that introduction, the candidate is then exposed to our fun and interactive assessments, and that actually helps us to also get the candidate to complete the various assessments that we require from them. And then lastly, we end off the candidate experience by providing the candidate more information on the next steps in the process. And then lastly, also asking the candidate actually what their feedback is on the whole assessment experience, and giving us that candidate satisfaction rating to see how we can continuously improve our internal processes. To check things like, are the instructions clear to the candidate? Yeah. How difficult was the level of assessment? Because obviously you don't want to be pitching your assessments as being too difficult or too easy. So that continuous feedback to try and improve our internal processes are very important for us as well.
Thank you very much, Elzette. And how about you, Diana? What's next for your team or the recruitment strategy, maybe?
It is quite interesting to see that overall we kind of have a similar goal. For us as well, it would be to invest time and resources to improve all of the recruiting tools we have. There have been many internal changes, and we had to adapt to find better ways to make use of the database, and also ease the candidate job registration process. As of course, we really need to take into account a candidate's experience when it comes to each step of the recruiting, like procedure overall, assessment, registration, interviews, see what we can do better. I've been quite involved in this area. It's been one of my interests to work in the process improvement area because honestly, besides tool usage, like overall, like soft skills, tool usage just simply go hand in hand as a recruiter. It's also, of course, important to check with the candidates their professional needs, personal needs. It helps us maybe make adjustments when it comes maybe to the benefits of the company overall, just to attract all of that great talent that we have on the market.
Absolutely. It's really great to see how you are all staying ahead of the game and adapting to the changing needs and demands of the recruitment world, right? Everything is evolving at the moment with the AI, and I'm very amazed to see how you even if everything is linked to AI and everybody's trying to use AI, you are trying to keep your recruiting process very holistic and very candidate oriented. It's very, very insightful, and I'm delighted about this. I'm sure our listeners have maybe learned a lot from your insights and experiences, and with that, we conclude our roundtable discussion, and maybe now we can open the floor for some questions and answers. So please, to all the attendees, please send your questions through the chat. If you want to address yourself to a particular speaker, please specify this in your question. And maybe we already have some questions, then I can see one. Right. How do you ensure that your hiring process is inclusive and diverse? And what strategies can one use to attract a diverse pool of candidates, especially for customer service roles? Yeah, maybe we can split it to two questions. How do you ensure that your hiring process is inclusive and diverse? Who would like to tackle this? Maybe Laura?
Sure,
you would like to answer this? Yeah.
Definitely. I do like this question, especially because Wipro is recognizing and appreciating the diversity, and we are actively working towards creating a diverse and inclusive environment so that we can not only attract a wide pool of candidates, but also create a more innovative and creative workplace. So if we discuss about recruitment itself, definitely what we do is to use an inclusive language in our job posting so that we can refer to skills only and not create or use any phrases that might have a negative connotation or deter certain groups of people from applying. And definitely all we do in terms of the way we from recruitment and hiring managers are being trained so that they won't be biased during the decision-making process. So
Yes,
this is
sure.
what we do at Wipro, yeah.
Okay, great. And what strategies can one use to attract a diverse pool of candidates, especially for this customer service role? Maybe you have some tips or advice to our audience.
Sure, definitely. Well, as I said earlier, it's not only enough. It's not enough, and it's not only important to attract candidates from a diverse range of communities or groups, but it is also important for us to actually have the workplace inclusive and understand that diversity does not only mean necessary race or sex diversity, but it also about gender diversity, neurodiversity, and creating a workplace that is able to actually develop and retain such talents from a diverse environment is what actually makes things easier for us to attract those to attract talents from and address to the diversity.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you.
Elzette, Diana, would you like to add something here, or we can move to the next question?
I think maybe the only thing I can add with regards to the first question is at 5CA, we also very explicitly don't ask for any demographic sort of information during our application screening questions or process, to also make sure that you automatically cut out any sort of unbiased decision making from recruiters. I think this also really helps to keep an open mind about all different kinds of candidates that you get applying, and to really get to know the candidate for who they are and what skills they are bringing to the table at the end of the day.
Great. Thank you very much, Elzette. I hope that answered your question. Diana, you would like to add something, or we can move to the next question?
I think we can move to the next question.
Great.
The answers were really complex and great.
Yeah, I think it was pretty complete. Thank you so much, Laura and Elzette. So the next question we have in the chat is from Beatrice. And she's asking how to make sure that the candidates already get a glimpse of the company culture during the interview. Very interesting question. So Diana, maybe you could start with this.
Sure. Definitely within Accenture, we promote that, like from the early stages, one-on-one interviews before we move to the manager interviews. We start off by presenting the like overall company, the inclusiveness, diversity that we already have here, just maybe to give them like a lot of transparency to see that this is a safe place for absolutely anyone to do their day-to-day job, let's say. So that's mostly how we go about it, just honest conversations about what is Accenture and what we offer in this area. And it worked pretty well so far from our feedbacks.
Great. Thank you so much, Diana. As we're running out of time, I suggest we just move to the next question, which is, it would be great to learn more about how you integrate your recruitment strategy with employee learning and development programs. For example, do you use assessment results as a tool for coaching and development? Elzette, maybe you would like to answer this question.
Yeah, so it's a complex question, I would say. I think for agents, especially within the high volume hiring space, it is quite difficult to already at the start of the onboarding process to really use the results in such a way, since we typically onboard, anything between 50 to 150 people on a weekly basis. So the coaching and development based on the results typically only take place a little bit later on in the process, when the team lead would have more insight into what areas we could potentially tap into based on assessment results. What I do want to mention maybe here from an ethical assessment standpoint is that should you use assessment results within the context of coaching, you do need to ask consent first from the candidate to share this information with a hiring manager, a team lead, etc., in order to ethically make sure that the candidate is aware that the results are being shared and for what purpose it is being shared. Typically, giving consent at the beginning of the assessment process would be for the purpose of selection. So if you're going to use it for something else, please just make sure that you first ask the candidate or the employee's consent before sharing that.
Great. Thank you so much, Elzette. Thank you for this question. It was very interesting. Maybe the last question we could answer, and then we will wrap it up. So, how do you manage attrition rates in such a tight-knit competitive market? Laura, would you like to answer this?
Sure. I believe this. This question kind of, touches very important topics, and one is the fact that attrition rate seems to be quite higher, especially post the pandemic period when people were kind of afraid to make career changes, and they were quite stable for their jobs. Now people are constantly looking for more challenges. They do want to make sure that they have the best type of compensation and benefits package that is available on their market for their careers. So what we do at Wipro, although I must admit that this is quite an HR question, and we are more of a team specialized in the talent acquisition domain. Definitely what we do is to create a competitive comp and ben package and offer not only benefits that at first sounds exciting because they might be either financial or about sport activities or other entertainment opportunities, but also in terms of wellness. What we have in Wipro, we do focus a lot on wellness. So we address to the entire set of being a Wipro employee, not only work-related benefits or not only activities that are related to the performance at work, but also the actual employee's wellness. We approach it holistically: body, soul, spirit, and mind.
That's great. That's really great to hear. I'm completely in love with this holistic approach you all are practicing. It's absolutely amazing. I know that we are absolutely running out of time, but we have one last question, and I hope you will be able to answer it. So it's from Dina, and she's asking, do you have time before start recruiting processes with outside candidates to find candidate inside company? Who would like to take it? Diana, maybe you? And after that, we will wrap it up.
Sure. Honestly, from my experience, we kind of go, let's say, in parallel. We will definitely start the recruitment process for an open role with like the external candidates. However, if perhaps within the company someone wishes to apply to that role, we will definitely prioritize the employee.
Yeah, you will encourage it, right? Okay. Thank you so much. I hope this answers your questions, Dina. And thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for Elzette, Laura, and Diana sharing their amazing experience with us today. And I give the floor to Karine now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Karina, for moderating this webinar. Yes, so thank you for your questions. We are running out of time now. So it's been an absolute pleasure to having our speakers, Laura, Elzette, and Diana, and to share their knowledge and your experience today. Thank you, Karina, for moderating the webinar. To all your attendees, thank you for joining. And being part of this conversation today. So we hope you'll gain valuable insights and strategies to help you recruit top talent and for your customer service teams and for your teams in general. So please note that the recording of this session will be available in the next few days. So stay tuned, and thank you, everyone. Have a nice day, and hope to see you again soon. So bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.